Hello everyone and welcome back to Bitcoin Trade. I should be not coughing as much. I feel a lot better. So, anyways, let's take a look at the quick look at the chart here and look at the price. I'm using a Bitstamp price now because they are the highest priced. So let's take a look at that and get a better idea of what's going on here. So there's the price right now. And you see Mt. Gox is still pretty darn low. So anyways, this is what's going on Bitstamp. And then we'll take a quick look at BitC, which is doing the same thing. A triangle within another triangle again. You know, it's all about them triangles. Not sure what's going on, if it's following this top down trend line, this particular trend line here. And it looks like it's slowly trying to break through, but it's coming out. I'm hoping that it hits this support and may bounce up, or it may just continue to fall down. Who knows? That's kind of been the trend so far, to hit the top, come down, hit the top, come down. But this is getting closer and closer to well, first of all, this is the original line right here. So it's past the line, but it's still following a downtrend. So I made a new line here, and same thing for BitC. Of course, BitC looks a little bit more like it should, like I would think it would. So there's some value over here at BitC, believe it or not. But anyways, this is the original trend line right here, the top resistance. It broke through and it's making another line. It's breaking through. Obviously, it's maintaining a nice sideways, and this looks more readable because from the way it looks like it's just hopping up, and then up. So we'll see if that's the case. And then here we go. Here's good old Mt. Gox. I mean, it's trying. It's really trying. I think a lot of people are waiting for the news. A lot of people are buying, and buying. Fortunately, there's a lot of people, sometimes a little bit more people, selling off, and selling off, and selling off. But we finally get a nice, slow, uptrending support here now. Looks like an uptrending support just because it's, it hasn't gone down below this. So finally, I think all the sellers are, for the most part, exhausted, or they're just holding. They're waiting on the sidelines. They're ready to either leave as soon as the withdrawal happens, or they're waiting to buy. Me personally, I'm waiting to buy. I've been buying here. I've just been buying it every time it dips. So that's what I'm waiting for. And at these prices, man, you can't. The risk is worth the reward. I'll tell you that much. I mean, in any worst case, if they do go down, you'll never see your money or your Bitcoin. So, if there is a chance that you can survive out of this, isn't it worth just going ahead and making that purchase right here at these prices? Just my opinion. That's all. And then let's go over and look at some of these. So this is Mt. Gox. Sorry if you just can't see. Still can't see. Okay. So that's Mt. Gox, and it's looks like it's flattening, and it hasn't moved up or down. It's just there. So that's that. So let's go and take a look at BitC real quick. And BitC is pretty much doing the same thing, and this is a 2-day 15-minute. Oh, you see it. I'm hoping it does move to the uptrend, because it looks like it's just staying right here around this. And then finally Bitstamp, same time frame, and again going sideways after a push up. So we'll see if it goes up again. But here's something else I want to show you here. If you look at this, look at that. Mt. Gox is on top. They can reclaim their status as the largest Bitcoin exchange again. For now, we're gonna see how crazy it gets. But if you look at the 30 days here, you'll see that it's closing in really close. You know, it's moving in closer and closer. The 30-day average is moving down closer to where the price should be, and it looks like it may go above the 30-day here soon. It looks like a lot of these are starting to look like it's getting closer to where the prices are. So hopefully we'll see soon enough perhaps a little increase in price, because it's exhausted all the sellers, hopefully, but you never know. Literally, it seems like a month of Bitcoin is almost like 2 or 3 years of regular trading. Literally, it's the price swings move that much in different markets, and even in the real world, when I do these trades, I mean my coins tend to go really fast, and I'm not sure if they're being used to be spent, if they're being used to invest, or people are just buying them because they think it's a really low price. They think it's just been being pushed down. Maybe they're my consensus is a lot of people are just buying these Bitcoins, and they may be just holding on to them, or they may be using it to make a purchase for something. I'm not sure what, but anyways, let's go over some quick headlines, and I'll talk about some things real quick, okay? So, let me see what kind of headlines can I go over. Okay, now this is an interesting one. How the feds can take even legally earned Bitcoins, supposedly. If they're going to go through all that trouble. It's just an article written as more of an opinion, an essay, some kind of legal essay about, you know, if somebody illegally gained their Bitcoins, if someone illegally gained their money through criminal activity and then basically gave you the money, well, through illegal means, right? Like, as in this example, they're talking about someone. So if you got paid to cut like a criminal's grass and they paid you with the illegal gain, well, then that became a legal gain and that's your money. But if they did it with Bitcoin, that may be an illegal gain, and it's open to confiscation, supposedly. So interesting article. Don't know how feasible this is or realistic this is, but good to read, and keeps you in the loop of maybe possible things that are going on. What's another one? Oh, here's another one. Bitcoin mining arms race heats up, and let's see. This is there's the article, and it's a little bit old, but it did catch my eye because I work with various miners. Both in a mining pool and both independent. So, anyways, there's this guy named Joe Flickinger, and it looks like he's got a lot of time on his hands. And I think there's a picture of him right there. And there's his mining rig, and supposedly he has 2 mining rigs, maybe even more. I'm not sure. But he claims that, I don't know what price he's at right now, but $150,000 per mining rig. That's pretty good. That's not bad. That's, you know. So again, I think this guy started out a little bit earlier. So when I talk to miners, and I don't know if they're saying this just to say this, or if they're saying it to mean it, but you know, I think they're saying it to mean it. At this point in time, if you're trying to get into the mining rig business, you're not going to really be making a lot of money. That's what I've been told. It's getting more competitive. The machines are getting more expensive. Um, and again, over time, you're just going to get less and less Bitcoins. So unless you were here in the beginning, you're pretty much maybe not going to get much out of it, especially if more and more people go on and go to the mining rig business. So, but he did make a claim that right now he has two machines and they produce 150,000 on a yearly basis. I don't know what price he's using, but um, it's pretty good. So, and then let me see here. This one in particular, I think I did an episode where you were able to use your Bitcoins to basically, there's a lot of these gambling websites just for Bitcoins, and yeah, elections, sports, whatever, they got it going on, and it's all speculating and for the most part gambling. Um, so just want to bring some headlines up here, and then here's another headline here. I haven't read this, but it's apparently eBay building digital wallet that stores multiple types of currencies. So this looks like a another avenue for use of cryptocurrencies in general, and some other news as well. Some secure storage options here, and looks like some nominations, but most importantly I want to look at these couple of, let me see, some of these recently, like here's Local Bitcoins starts manufacturing low-cost Bitcoin ATMs. So they're taking they're looking for people who are looking to acquire these and operate them, and they're relatively cheap apparently, and they're just looking for people who can operate these all over the world. Like, if you already know what localbitcoins.com is. And then here's another one that also does a little vending machine, ATMs, another automated teller machine. And then here's another one. Let me see. Yeah, here's another one. Looks like the first US ATM arrives in New Mexico. So a lot of these ATMs are starting to pop up now, and that's pretty good news. And ironically, the news that comes from CoinDesk versus the news that comes from let's say Google, quite different. A lot of it's talking about what Bitcoin lacks the properties of real currency, how the feds can take even illegally earned Bitcoins. I mean, they're talking about, they're still talking about Bitcoins as if it's illegal to trade them, when in reality, if you've seen my episodes and you read the guidelines, you are 100% with, if you're legitimate in any way, you can legitimately trade Bitcoins. And if you've seen the guidelines, and if you're an investor, you can openly trade Bitcoins. You can go global, you can go international. And so this is going to bring up some other things here, and let me just pop over to the chart here. Now, I've talked about a lot of things. I talked about the banking system. I've talked about the guidelines, the regulations, some ideas on what you can do. For example, when I mentioned if corporations are people, and they can operate a global operation. Well, what if you are a person? Can you do the same things as a global corporation can do? Can you have that kind of structure and protection and everything? And my for the most part, my conclusion is yes. Yes, you can do that. You can do everything that a corporation does because you are an actual person and you have rights, legal rights in America. And if you follow the legal framework and basically follow the framework within a legal framework, you should be fine. You should be okay, right? So I'm showing you all this. Um, Let me see. Another thing I'm going to talk about in this episode is the Bank Secrecy Act. It's also called something else. I'm not going to get too much into detail, but I think it's important to know what it is. All right. And I'm not going to go over it too much because I think it's important for you, the viewer, if you're really interested in Bitcoin trading, if you really want to do this for a living and generate wealth, you've got to read the Bank Secrecy Act and understand what it is. And also the U.S. Patriot Act, which was also injected into the Bank Secrecy Act, okay? And, there's a lot of things in there, and I think it's important for an investor to know what's going on because you got to realize if you're going to be a trader in Bitcoin and you're going to be investing, you're going to be global, you have to understand that you're going to be watched. All right, they're watching you. It's called the Bank Secrecy Act because they're secretly surveilling or watching you. All right, and the banks are not allowed to tell you that they're watching you. Okay. And there's, as they're watching you, they're just waiting for you to, commit a crime. And then they can come in and basically all your earnings are forfeited. There's also some protections for you as well. Mainly, with the combination of the Bank Secrecy Act and the U.S. Patriot Act, basically, you really don't have any privacy whatsoever. Any suspicious activity that goes on, they're going to be all over you. They will wiretap you. They may even search your house when you're not around. There's just all sorts of things that could be done. So unless you're a legitimate business, a legitimate investor of Bitcoins, I am a legitimate mining investor of Bitcoins. Okay. So unless you're actually legitimate, this is probably not a good way for you to go, becoming a mining investor. But within the U.S. Patriot Act itself, there's some money laundering, anti-money laundering statutes in there, and they're pretty intense. It gives the FBI, for the most part, it gives FBI a lot of leeway if you're in America, but it also gives a lot of other agencies to get involved for anything outside of America. Okay, so when you go global, chances are you could be or you may not. Depends. It's you're just constantly being watched is my point with your money. So they're watching your money. They may not be watching you, but they're watching your money. And they're watching you to see what you do with your money. And not only that, they're watching you to see if you report anything as well. There's some required reporting going on that you need to know because I'm seeing something here that I think every Bitcoin investor should take note. And that's, first of all, you're seeing, now that Bitcoin's getting a lot of attention, it's gonna, you've seen the guidelines come out, right? So the guidelines have come out, both, um, about Bitcoin and, um, the software for Bitcoin. And then we've seen some guidelines regarding, recently, with legal marijuana, right? We've seen some guidelines there. So those three things, are just going to, really increase the surveillance that is going on. And if you don't think there's surveillance going on, you obviously haven't read, the Patriot Act or the Bank Secrecy Act, because you are being watched, okay? Which is good for someone who's legitimate, because I want somebody to watch after my money, all right? Watch after my money, that's all I ask. Um, so if you're going to use the banks, be legitimate, okay? There is some good things that you can do. Um, there's some advantages of being legitimate, and the Bank Secrecy Act and the U.S. Patriot Act. Okay. Of course, the Patriot Act addresses a lot of, anti-money laundering, specifically towards, a terrorist organization, intelligence gathering. It just covers a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. Anyways, if you're gonna go global, the problem is going global is that you're leaving the protected soil of, United States of America, and you're basically, opening yourself up to, uh, legal the legal framework of another country. So there's, because of the U.S. Patriot Act, there is some protection for someone like me, like, who's an investor of Bitcoins, okay? And, the protection is basically, if someone steals Bitcoins from you, or steals money from you in a foreign country, um, you can call. You could probably start with the FBI, but, you can also probably call, Homeland Security, um, the NSA, the CIA, or any government entity that, or even your Attorney General. You can call them, but basically, it's going to be handled, um, through a government entity that deals with international espionage, or, um, fraud, or something like that. Um, Mainly because, if someone's going to steal Bitcoins from you and it's done internationally, you could make a claim for terrorist. I mean, why would somebody want to steal money from you? And why would somebody want to steal Bitcoins from you, right? Um, and, another thing, I found that was, mainly is to address, terrorists, right? So something like, 9/11 won't happen again. Well, they added in there, in the U.S. Patriot Act, uh, cyber terrorist. Okay, cyber terrorist. Ironically, I didn't find any financial terrorist in any definition of the U.S. Patriot Act, which I think they should probably put in there. They should probably put in an addendum for financial terrorist, foreign and domestic. Okay, because if you don't believe there's financial terrorists out there, you all need to wake up. They're out there, and they're real. And they don't wear a hood. They don't they don't you know they're not toting guns. They don't strap on a bomb and detonate themselves in a bus. These are different kind of terrorists. They're trying to destroy the, economy. All right. and so they're out there, and oftentimes, um, my my personal opinion, they're I would say about half of these financial terrorists are domestic, all right, and the other half are foreign. So just their attacks coming from a foreign country attacking America, all right, and then the other half are actually um, just greedy sons of bitches who don't care about their country or the people in that country. Mainly, I'm talking about in America, and they're the domestic terrorist. All right, they're the domestic financial terrorist. So they're out there. They're real. Um, and some of these people, they only have one mission in their life, and that's to destroy the U.S. economy. All right, they're real. Don't think that they don't exist, because they do. All right, and I guess you could closely relate them to a cyber terrorist. They break into your computer, your personal device, your personal computer here, and then they try to steal information, i.e., your identity. They could use your identity to a lot of stuff. I mean, mainly to steal money or commit fraud. But if you think about it, they could steal your identity to have someone take your identity to come into America, or to commit a crime in another country with your name, right? So there is something that says about cyber terrorist, and those, if you don't think cyber terrorists are real, they're real too. All right, they exist, foreign and domestic. All right, they're out there. They're real. If you don't think so, you're just fooling yourself. So go ahead and take some time to read the Bank Secrecy Act, and in there will also be the U.S. Patriot Act. And another tip I want to give to investors is, okay, you've seen the guidance. You're seeing also enforcement at the same time. The last thing you're going to see when if you're going to trade in Bitcoins, is the taxation. Okay, that's coming next. So you got the rules, you got the guidelines, you got enforcement going on. Now you're going to see the taxation. So the thing about the Bank Secrecy Act, okay, is there's a little thing in there that and you're going to have to find it. But for the most part, anybody in America, at least, okay, who has an aggregate amount of 10,000 in any foreign and trading account will have to report it to the IRS. Okay, so if you don't, guess what? They're gonna forfeit your accounts. All right, they're gonna forfeit those accounts, and they'll penalize you or take your money or bitcoins. Okay, so it's important that you understand this, because you are being watched, and you may not even know it. Okay, but they are watching you, and they could take it a step further, and they could literally do it 24 hours, 357, 7 to 24/7 surveillance on you. They could tap your phones, your computer, whatever. They can do all that, and you'll never know. So this is not something you want to mess around with. But the nice thing is, if they're going to be doing all that, they're also going to be protecting your money, right? You would think, right? If you're going to watch me, well, at least I want you to watch me so you can protect my money against, cyber terrorist, financial terrorist. All right? Because in this game here, it's a different game. It's not a battlefield. Your computer is your weapon, or your computer is a means of attacking in a way. and in this particular case, Bitcoin is your weapon to, for me, Bitcoin is a way to defend myself against financial terrorists, foreign and domestic. All right, because they're out there, and it's also a way for me to protect against cyber terrorists as well, mainly to protect my wealth from them. All right, so criminals, scammers, hackers, for the most part, you fall into a cyber terrorist. And so, for any legitimate Bitcoin investor, okay, or any minor user, if you have a cyber terrorist attacking you and your Bitcoin or your money, report it immediately. You are protected under the U.S. Patriot Act, and you can have the enforcement of all of the U.S. government agencies at your side, at your disposal, to catch cyber terrorists. And that's my message to people out there who are legitimately engaged in, Bitcoin investing or mining. Okay, so that's the episode today. I urge everyone who's going to get into Bitcoin to read the Bank Secrecy Act and also the U.S. Patriot Act. And then if you want to take a little bit step further, after you read those two, you'll find out some of the IRS codes that require you to make reports. Mainly the example I gave to you, because if you look at the exchanges, none of these exchanges are in America. Okay, none of these exchanges are in America. So if you have over 10,000 aggregate, so at any point in time, okay, you have to make that report to the IRS. So I think it's once a year that you could, it's probably the same time you file your taxes, but so since I'm going to be pretty much this whole year, I'm going to be just operating as normal. I'll probably have to file my taxes at the end of next year for this year, and I'll probably talk to my accountant. I have to do my taxes anyway this year, so I'll talk to him anyway, but I'll let him know what I'm doing and see what I need to do in a legal, within a legal framework of the laws. All right, and so there's nothing wrong with making that report, but I think it's important that if you do have an aggregate of 10,000 or more in a foreign country, either bank account or trading account, it's important that you report it, because if it's ever found out, you can get penalized or forfeiture. They could just say, hey, you're hiding something, we could take it from you. Not really, but there's some obviously there's some protection for you against any excessive penalties. Okay, but I guess it depends on the facts and circumstances, right? So that's my message out for you viewers today, and I hope that helped. Anyways, that concludes this episode, and please feel free to comment, like, dislike, or even leave a video response. Until next time, stay tuned.